Ghoul. What the blight does not destroy, it corrupts. Any creatures infected with the darkspawn taint that does not have the good fortune to die outright becomes a ghoul, a twisted shadow of itself. The name originally comes from men, whether human, dwarven or elven, who became tainted, usually while being held as captive food source by the darkspawn. They would turn cannibal, preying on other captives, slaves to the will of the archdemon, driven mad by pain. During a blight, the corruption of the darkspawn spreads through the wilder areas of Thedas and infects the animals around them. This produces grotesque enraged bears, the called Beresgarn, as well as blight wolves. Fortunately, ghouls rarely survive the corruption for too long. Halla. No creature is more revered by the Dalish than the Halla. No other animal has a god of its own. These white stags are much larger than ordinary deer, and the Dalish Halla keepers carve their antlers as they grow, making them curve into intricate designs. In ancient times these stags bore elven knights into combat, but since the fall of the Dales they are used less as mounts and more to pull Aravels. Wild Sylvan. For demons crossing over into our world, mankind is not always preferred prey. Possessing humans means risking encounters with powerful mages and templars, as well as other complications. Some demons find it far easier to seek out animals or even plants, assuming that these will make as suitable a host as a human. Those that possess trees are known as wild Sylvans. Generally only demons of rage, the weakest of the demon hierarchy, will become a Sylvan. Once they do, they must spend a great deal of time twisting and molding the host in order to make it mobile, and once they have, the Sylvan is a powerful and deadly opponent. Other more intelligent spirits has also been known to become Sylvans, and they're generally much less violent, but these are rare. Slow but immensely powerful, wild Sylvans prefer to lay in ambush, waiting for a victim to become lost, tired, or trapped before closing in for the kill. They hide among regular trees, nearly undetectable until they begin to move into reach. When they do come to life, as some travelers say, they stand tall, roots forming into legs and feet and branches stretching out into lashing arms. When not presented with a living target, however, it has been noted that the Sylvans often fall into a form of dormancy, perhaps brought on by the nature of the tree host. While mobile, they normally return to wherever they were rooted once their prey has been killed. For both these reasons, a forest that has Sylvans within can become incredibly dangerous to pass through for very long periods of time. Werewolf. And Dane he stood his ground. The fanged beast approached. He saw the rage within its eyes, the wolf that once was there. The sword he raised, merciful death be praised, to the Maker went his prayer. From the popular telling of Dane and the Werewolf, a legend of Ferelden, circa 450 Black. Ferelden lore is full of instances where these creatures have plagued the countryside. Wolves possessed by rage demons and transformed into humanoid monsters with incredible speed and strength, able to spread the curse to those they bit that would drive them mad with unthinking fury. When in this enraged state, a human host can likewise become possessed and be transformed into a feral wolf-like beast. Tales differ on these werewolves of human origin, some claiming that the transformation into a bestial form happens uncontrollably. Some claim the transformation is irreversible. As is often the case with demonic tales, both versions were most likely true at some point. The ability of normal dogs to detect a werewolf even when it is in a human guise is what first led Fereldans to adopt dogs as indispensable companions in every farmhold. The alliance between humans and regular wolves is the subject of the popular Ferelden folk tale Dane and the Werewolf. The actual hero Dane led a crusade to eliminate the werewolf threat during the early Black Age, and while werewolves have never assumed the same prominence since, there have still been reports of individual packs lurking in remote forests. In recent years, some have been reported to have developed an uncanny willpower and intelligence, though why that is so is still unknown. Have I done that? I don't think so. Andruil, goddess of the hunt. Hear me, sons and daughters of the people. I am sister of the moon, mother of Hers, lady of the hunt, Andruil. Remember my teachings, remember Virtanadal, the way of 3 trees that I have given you. Vira's son, the way of the arrow, be swift and silent, strike true, do not waver, and let not your prey suffer, that is my way. Virbora's son, the way of the bow, as the sapling bends, so must you, in yielding find resilience, in pliancy find strength, that is my way. Vir Adalen, the way of the wood, receive the gifts of the hunt with mindfulness, respect the sacrifice of my children, know that your passing shall nourish them in turn, that is my way. Remember the ways of the hunt, and I shall be with you. From the charge of Andruil, goddess of the hunt. Harel, the dread wolf. There is precious little we know about Harel, for they say he did not care for our people. Ghilan'nain and Mithal created the world as we know it. Andruil taught us the ways of the hunter. Sylaise and June gave us fire and crafting, but Harel kept to himself and plotted the betrayal of all the gods. And after the destruction of Iloren, when the gods could no longer hear our prayers, it is said that Harel spent centuries in a far corner of the earth, giggling madly and hugging himself in glee. The legends say that before the fall of Iloren, the gods we know and revere fought an endless war with others of their kind. There is not a Huron among us who remembers these others. Only in dreams do we hear whispered the names of Ghilan'nain and Darntal and Anaris, for they are the forgotten ones, the gods of terror and malice, spite and pestilence. In ancient times only Harel could walk without fear among both our gods and the forgotten ones, for although he is kin to the gods of the people, the forgotten ones knew of his cunning ways and saw him as one of their own. And that is how Harel tricked them. Our gods saw him as a brother, and they trusted him when he said that they must keep to the heavens while he arranged a truce. And the forgotten ones trusted him also when he said he would arrange for the defeat of our gods, if only the forgotten ones would return to the abyss for a time. They trusted Harel, and they were all of them betrayed, and Harel sealed them away so they could never again walk among the people. From the Tale of Harel's triumph, as told by Harel, keeper of the Ralaferan clan of the Dalish elves. Ghilan'nain, mother of the Halla. They say Ghilan'nain was one of the people in the days before Iloren, and the chosen of Andruil the huntress. She was very beautiful, with hair of snowy white, and as graceful as a gazelle. She kept always to Andruil's ways, and Andruil favoured her above all others. One day, while hunting in the forest, Ghilan'nain came across a hunter she did not know. At his feet lay a hawk, shot through the heart by an arrow. Ghilan'nain was filled with rage for the hawk. For the hawk, along with the hare, is an animal much beloved of Andruil. Ghilan'nain demanded that the hunter make an offering to Andruil in exchange for taking the life of one of her creatures. The hunter refused, and Ghilan'nain called upon the goddess to curse him, so that he could never again hunt and kill a living creature. Ghilan'nain's curse took hold, and the hunter found that he was unable to hunt. His prey would dart out of sight, and his arrows would fly astray. His friends and family began to mock him for his impotence. For what use is a hunter who cannot hunt? Ashamed, the hunter swore he would find Ghilan'nain and repay her for what she had done to him. He found Ghilan'nain while she was out on a hunt with her sisters, and lured her away from them with lies and false words. He told Ghilan'nain that he had learned his lesson and begged her to come with him, so she could teach him to make a proper offering to Andruil. Moved by his plea, Ghilan'nain followed the hunter, and when they were away from all her sisters, the hunter turned on Ghilan'nain. He blinded her first, and then bound her as one would bind a kill fresh from the hunt. But because he was cursed, the hunter could not kill her. Instead, he left her for dead in the forest. And Ghilan'nain prayed to the gods for help. She prayed to Elganan for vengeance, to Mother Mithal to protect her, but above all she prayed to Andruil. Andruil sent her heirs to Ghilan'nain, and they chewed through the ropes that bound her, but Ghilan'nain was so wounded and blind, and could not find her way home. So Andruil turned her into a beautiful white deer, the first Halla, and Ghilan'nain found her way back to her sisters and led them to the hunter, who was brought to justice. And since that day the Halla have guided the people, and have never led us astray, for they listen to the voice of Ghilan'nain. From the Tale of Ghilan'nain is told by Harel, keeper of Ralaferan clan of the Dalish elves. By the way, but Harel somehow reminds me of the Norse god Loki. And even more after Inquisition, actually. No, I'm not getting into that now. Sylaise, the Hearthkeeper. Sylaise the Hearthkeeper is seen as the sister of Andruil the Huntress. While Andruil loved to run with the creatures of the wild, Sylaise preferred to stay by her home tree, occupying herself with gentle arts and song. It is Sylaise who gave us fire and taught us how to use it. It is Sylaise who showed us how to heal with herbs and magic, and how to ease the passage of infants into this world. And again, it is Sylaise who showed us how to spin the fibers of plants into thread and rope. We owe much to Sylaise, and that is why we sing to her when we kindle the fires and when we put them out. That is why we sprinkle our Aravels with Sylaise's fragrant tree moss, and ask that she protects them and all within. As taught by Harel, keeper of Werewolf, clan of the Dalish elves. Aravels. The Dalish, who band together in small groups of blood relatives, travel in ornately carved wagons known as Aravel, drawn by large white stags called Halla. The Aravel are a unique sight, beautiful in their swooping curvature and adorned with broad hoods and bright silken cloths that flap in the wind, often displaying the noble banners that once flew over their family's house. Most humans refer to the Aravels as land ships, for in a strong wind it can often appear as if the elves travel in long boats with sails high overhead to announce their arrival or warn others away. The Halla are unique to the elves, and any but elven handlers consider them ornery and almost impossible to train. To the Dalish, they are noble beasts, superior in breeding to the horse. Certainly most humans would agree that the Halla are as beautiful as the elves themselves. The fact that many imperial nobles maintain a bounty on Halla horns that find their way into the winter is an affront to the Dalish considered unforgivable. Few among us can claim to have seen the Dalish landships up close. Any human who sees them on the horizon does well to head the other way. Few Dalish clans take kindly to humans intruding their camps, and more than one tale tells of trouble-making humans who found themselves mercilessly filled with Dalish arrows. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Jenny TV. The Dales. Many forget that when holy Andraste called out to the oppressed peoples to rise up, it was the elves who answered her first. The humblest slaves of the Imperium became her vanguard, and when victory came, they were rewarded accordingly. They were given a land in what is now the south of our lake, called the Dales. A great exodus of elves undertook the journey to their new home, crossing ocean, desert, and mountain. Their city, the first elven city since the fabled Iloren, was called Harel. A new era had begun for the elves, but the old era wasn't through with them. In the forest city, the elves turned again to worship their silent ancient gods. They became increasingly isolationists, posting emerald knights who guarded the borders with jealousy, rebuking all efforts at trade or civilized discourse. Dark yet rumors spread in the lands that bordered the Dales, whispers of humans captured and sacrificed to elven gods. And then came an attack by the elves on the defenseless village of the Red Crossing. The Chantry replied with the exalted march of the Dales, and the era of the Elven Kingdom came to an end. Harel was utterly destroyed, the elves driven out, scattered, left to survive on goodwill alone. From For Elven Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. And you always, what I notice is that Journey TV, while he's also a Chantry person, is never as biased as this person, Petrine, who I've been noticing now that I read out the Codex, is very, very, very biased. This too, and we will hear more about this village of Red Crossing in Inquisition, and what really happened there. The Tale of Iloren. In the days after the rising of Zazikel, the Dark Ones covered every corner of the land. The Archdemon drove all the nations of the world before him, Shemland and Elven alike. In the far north, where the hills wander the plains and the earth is eternally baked beneath the uncaring sun, the lands with which the Shamlan call Underfells, a clan of our people lived, struggling to survive the blight. Iloren was their keeper, a hunter in his younger days, crafty as any wolf. He led his people always just ahead of the darkspawn who chased them, but the old hunter knew that even Halla cannot run forever. They must turn and fight or be run down. At the foot of Merdane, Darkspawn cornered Iloren's clan. That night the moon was strangled by clouds, the earth concealed by a dread mist that rose out of nowhere, so that the Elven could not tell up from down. In the confusion the Darkspawn attacked, but Iloren had prepared them. All around the camp the hunters had strewn dry grass, brush and brambles. And the sound of rustling footfalls began. Iloren and the other Harren called upon the old magic. They struck out with lightning, and through the bolts they missed the and though the bolts missed the darkspawn, they hit their target all the same. The sea of kindling lit, and not one of the dark creatures made it through the fire to reach Iloren's clan. From the Tale of Iloren, written by Zathrian, as it has been passed down from keeper to keeper for generations.